Hello and welcome to Work Hard, Dream Harder. We're just two best friends trying to figure out life and trying to live a life to the fullest. So let's work hard and dream harder together.
Hello guys, welcome back. We can't believe we're back for our 10th episode. I think. Maybe.
We don't know. We can't count to 10, so we're really just guesstimating at this point.
You know what, to be honest, you should be shocked that we're here this far.
Yeah, we never commit to anything.
If you ever Google me and you see the amount of podcasts I've abandoned, it's 2.
Don't tell people that because they might not carry on watching.
But we're here.
We've never abandoned anything. I don't know what you mean.
We just thought, we were discussing just, you know on the TikTok where you see those videos, it was just like, do you want a tip or do you want £10,000? And then this guy, right, his name's Simon Squibb. He's got a book called, I think it's like, What is Your Dream?
Speaking of chasing dreams, my boss is currently calling me.
Okay. So what were we doing before that rude interrupters?
Simon Squibb.
That's such a cool name. It's so suitable because my name is Sarah Eunice, and I'm just like, there's 100 people out there, and I'm just like, you can't find me on the LinkedIn. First world problems. Well, you've got the same problem.
I've got like the shortest name in existence. Like, I'm not sure how you'd make my name shorter.
No, but cooler.
I call you Yanis, and there's not even an A in it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, Sarah's so basic. So is my second name.
Tia's the name of dogs. I know 3 dogs called Tia. What's that about?
But I'm just saying, his name's just so cool. Like, it's just so unique. And I'm just like, mother, you chose a basic.
Why don't we change our name legally to like...
Well, it's funny, you can make the joke of Superman. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, see, if my cat didn't come with a name, I would have called him Clark.
Oh.
I'm not sure he would have appreciated that though. He's my little Smokes.
You know what? I think Smokey does live a dual identity.
What's his dual identity? he just licks his privates and meows a lot. Like, there's not really much else to him.
No, under the bed he's got some empire.
Yeah, he goes under the bed when there's like people over. That's his like safe space, and he just kind of crouches there and stares at you like. Eyes wide open.
But we went on a tangent, but you should expect that. But the reason why we're bringing this up, he wants to help people achieve their dreams. And there was this TikTok where he said, do you want my book with the knowledge or do you want £1,000? And I was just thinking that when it comes to reality, would you chase your dreams or money? I'm just like...
It's one of those debates that everyone has because everyone always says, oh, I'll go and chase my dream. But when people are actually put in that situation, a lot of them don't. A lot of them go for the safe route, the money route, I know a lot of people who are in jobs and they're miserable, but it's good money. So, like, it's one of those things, isn't it?
I think watching his videos made me realize you can be the richest person, but if you don't have a purpose, then the money is worthless. It's just like a lot of these like Mark Zuckerberg, the reason why he started Facebook because he wanted friends. That's why he created it. His purpose was he wanted to create a community that he can have friends. Like Steve Jobs and like any tech person, they want to sort out a problem. That's their why. And I think the billionaires who just got lucky or who just, it's like a lot of these businesses, you need a why, then that brings you a purpose. So, if that purpose makes you money, then yeah, but the people who make money, like you said, if you're working with someone that doesn't have the same purpose as you, then the money makes your life easier. I'm going to say that right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like billionaires, once they have the money and the car and all that, then they don't have anything to go off to. It's like, what's their next thing? But if you have a purpose, for example, like we want to set up a community of creative people in the Midlands, we want a coffee shop. Our why is we want to create a community, and it's like we're doing this podcast knowing that we enjoy it, not that it's going to make money.
Yeah, like,
maybe eventually down the line, but we started it because we loved it and we wanted to document our journey.
Honestly, I use it as an excuse to gossip with my best mate about random stuff.
And I think a lot of artists have that why.
Mm.
That's why they're creating it. Not because it's the glamorous thing. Like, if I wanted to make money, I'd be in corporate land. I'd be a corporate girlie. But I realise my dyslexia is like, nope, we're not going to even mess around with that idea.
We're not going down that route.
But you know what I mean? But I know that I've got stories to tell. You need to find your purpose. And your dream might be your purpose, but if you just chase the idea of the money, then it's just like, okay, once you get that, you're like, oh shit, like, what's next? Like, I got the yacht, I got the house, you know, but then...
I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. So for me, I would temporarily chase the money until I have enough money to chase my dream. And I feel like that's how I would work it, because what I want to do, you need money to start up with. So I would probably be miserable for like, I don't know, 5 years, just earning the money, saving it up. And then when I've got what I need, right, let's jump, let's do what I actually want to do.
But he makes a point that once people start making the money, they neglect their goals because it's cushy.
That's true.
Not in the fact that, you know, it's just like, he always vilifies a mortgage because you're like, stop paying that. I know, let's scrap that because I lost my train of thought, but like once you've bought a house or like once you settle down, then you're like, okay, I need to pay the bills, and everybody needs to pay the bills, and then not people have the luxury to be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Back to that. I was watching Magic Mike, right? There's a point to this, regardless of the storyline, but is that Channing Tatum's character once...
She was watching Magic Mike for Channing Tatum, let's be real.
But hey, it's not...
No,
you know
not denying it.
No, to be honest, regardless, the storyline was actually quite inspiring. Because Channing Tatum's character wants to open up a bespoke furniture place, but nobody's giving him a business loan, right? So the reason why he's a stripper is because it makes good money. And through the movie, he's stuck by the job that made him the money, and instead of just risking it all to be like, oh, I'm just going to start this, because there's never a perfect timing. That's the storyline.
Right. I'll be honest, I've never seen it.
Yeah, you think it's about strippers, but I think the storyline was just like, he had to do that side of his job to make earn him the money because nobody's giving him the chance. So it's having that job that gives you that opportunity to make the money. But then he just realized it's easy.
Yeah. So he's stuck on the easy route instead of going for what he actually wants to go for.
Yeah, and I think that's what people... And it took to him to be like, they're moving the club to like Miami. And there was this conversation he had with someone. She was like, oh, Miami's not going to change you. You're just going to get stuck just performing, right? It's now you have to take that risk because you're just making an excuse. You say you're an entrepreneur, but you're not.
Yeah.
So that's what I got from it. And I think once you get into that, like, oh, it's making me money, you forget your dream because you might have bought that car that's on a lease, you might have bought that mortgage, and now you're stuck feeling those necessities when... It's like when you have kids, you've got to get, you've got to get out of your system that it's going to change you. You don't have the luxury of, pivoting.
Yeah. I think that's the problem people have. I think... while actually chasing the money in order to chase your dreams, you need to make sure you're living to your means. Like, when I'm chasing my dream and I'm not on as much income, what can I afford? And people don't think of that. They're thinking, what can I afford now? But I always think doomsday worst case scenario. What if I'm always skint?
Oh my god, I need to be like Tia, right? The spreadsheet girly. I keep saying to Tia, she needs to sell these spreadsheets or like somebody.
I have spreadsheets for everything. I literally have this like spreadsheet, and I worked out like my income, my outgoings, literally everything is on this spreadsheet. I know exactly how much money I've got, how much, like, just what's in what account, just by looking at this one sheet, because I can't visualize my spending that well, and this helps me see like what's going on with it.
I wish I was like that. I'm a compulsive.
When I didn't do it, I was the most compulsive buyer in the world. I'd be like, yeah, let's buy this, yeah, let's buy this. But now I'm actually like, I know where everything's going, and it's like, no, I can't afford this just yet. Let's wait. And most of the time, I don't actually want it.
I was reading. It was called The Unfair Advantage.
Right.
That helped put it in perspective. So it was saying that. So I'm going to paraphrase it because I haven't read it for a long time. But it was something like, so if a billionaire had a child and they wanted to get into a business, right? The unfair advantage is basically nepotism, right? The kid has access to the parent's network. So you can say that's an unfair advantage, right? However, it takes that kid to utilize it, right? Because just because they got access to this network, just because they got access to it doesn't mean they're going to be an instant success, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's what they
This is
do
kinda
with
like
it.
Billie Eilish, right?
Yeah.
Because she used like contacts people that they know, but she worked hard for it. It's one of those, isn't it?
So I was just like, okay, like, what's my unfair advantage? One, I live at home. I don't have that much rent to pay. You know, I've got that safety net. And then I've got the luxury of an 8-hour contract, which I know I'm doing 8 hours a week. At least then I know I have the bit of money, but I can be risky in volunteering my time. I cannot be I can do stuff for free because I don't have rent to pay. So that is my unfair advantage. And I always used to be like, well, I don't have people in business, I don't have this. But then I was like, yeah, my circumstances are unfair because somebody like you've got rent to pay. So you have to be strategic. Yeah, with what you can put time into. Because I'm just like, fuck it here, quit your job. But then, just because I have an unfair advantage like that, it's kind of like a blessing. And I think I can chase my dream, but then I've got to realise that I know I've made peace with, if I can just earn bare minimum, I'll be okay, as long as I can be creative. Because there's a thing where if you are earning to do something, so for example, if my job was to make films, that's all I would do, I'd be so happy. But if I can't do without it, then I know that's the job for me. I'm always craving that.
Yeah.
And that's a good sign that that's the dream you should go for. Because if I would have given up by now if I didn't want it.
Yeah, you like, that's what you're going for, that's what you're aiming for. And I think you've always been the same, like the entire time we've been friends, like that's always what you wanted to go for. So like that's how you know this is true, this is what I want.
I can, like, my career trajectory, I was like, oh, I want to be a chef, I want to be a DJ, radio presenter. Then I was just like, I want to be an actor. Then I was like, my dyslexia. And then I was like, oh, let's behind the scenes. And then I was just like, yeah, I don't have the money to make films, but then I can do Instagram, social media. Ooh, I'm good at talking podcast. So I think if I didn't love it, I would have given up ages ago. Money makes your life easier, but it doesn't. It's like you've got to understand why.
Yeah, why it does that.
Because if your dream was just to get rich and you've done that, you've got then. That's why
I feel like you need a dream outside of money, like something to aspire to. Because what about when you're retired? You're not like.
So that's why I realised all these like billionaires go, what's it, philanthropy? like charities
Yeah.
and stuff.
They're always doing extra stuff even though they don't really need to.
Because they realize being satisfied. You'll never be satisfied with money. It'll make your life easier. We're not saying that money makes you happy to a certain extent. Once you can cover your bare necessities.
This is why I don't like the saying money doesn't buy happiness. To an extent, it does.
Yeah.
I think you have too much money and it becomes obsolete. It doesn't matter anymore. But you need a certain amount of money in order to be happy. And that's why I don't like that saying, because if you can't afford food, or if you can't afford somewhere to live, or if you can't afford just the odd day out here and there, you're not going to be happy. You need money for that. But again, people with too much money don't care about it. It doesn't mean anything. It's not special anymore.
Yeah, so...
not the money, but like the days out and the products aren't special
you were
anymore.
right, because I was listening to, I like Stephen Bartlett's episodes before he got, he was, his beginning episodes of his podcast, the earlier ones. He was saying that he was when he got his first class aeroplane flight,
yeah,
it was oh my god, amazing. But when he could afford more of them, it lost that and he was saying he saw this couple just be oh my god. He was just oh, the probably it's their first time or first class, and he saw that and be oh,
that's what I'm missing.
Yeah, because been there, done that type of mentality, and he was just oh, once you can afford it, you start appreciating it. But as long as you have a goal, you would never feel like that, if you know what I mean.
You know what's funny, actually? We went to a comedy show on Saturday, and one of the comedians there, he was hilarious. Oh, I wish I could remember his name. I'll pop it down in the description, because he was really funny. And he was saying that he was going to... I think he was going to Australia or New Zealand or something, and he'd earn enough points with his flight account to upgrade to business class, first class, and he'd never done it before, and he was saying how he got the robe and he felt really special and everything like that, but he didn't have enough points on the way back, and so because he was used to business class, because he was used to first class, having to sit in the common area, he was I really appreciated the first class because he'd taken that down step. And I feel maybe even if you have the money, maybe every so often go back to your roots, go back to original, so then you can still appreciate what you have now. I feel I'd have to try and do that, because I am very quick to stop appreciating something.
Yeah.
Very quick to. And so I do worry that I would be the same. If I get used to having something, I don't appreciate it anymore. So every so often I have to just kind of take myself back and be right, no, this is where I started. Let's be more appreciative.
I think comparison is the thief of joy. Because I think I've realised that LinkedIn is a fucking hellhole for this, but when you're at uni, everybody's on the same level. When you get out of education, fuck, I'm stuck. People are progressing quicker than me. And then you're oh shit, I'm not where I should be. Whether people are surfing the corporate ladder or getting dream careers that you want, and you're fuck, they're the same age as me. But then when you realise you're on a different journey, then you're you can appreciate it. Because I can look back and now, if I got money in my 20s, I think I would have been crazy. Not crazy in that, spoiled. You wouldn't appreciate, oh, I spent 600 flipping pound on a camera. Yeah. That's scary when I'm just I've spent £600, but I'm oh, fuck. That's £600 when you don't know the value of it. And I think if something can just happen like that, you're shit.
That's what I mean. My parents weren't that well off as I was growing up. So it was if I wanted a new piece of furniture or if something was breaking, I had to wait for my birthday or I had to wait for Christmas because they couldn't afford to just
do it.
Here's a new, I think my headboard broke on one of my beds. I had to get a new bed for my birthday, because they're so expensive. Beds are so expensive. And, my mum's done really well. She's worked her way up. She's like a management accountant now. Like, she's worked really hard. So there's a big age gap between me and my brother. My brother gets a lot of the luxuries that I never could. And he isn't spoilt or anything, but he just isn't as appreciative of things. Whereas now, I look at something and go, wow, like, that's a lot. And I don't think he'll ever have that. And so even though growing up poor was kind of sucky, I think it's kind of worked out well. I know that sounds really bad to say, because there's probably there will be loads of people in way worse situations than I am, but because I grew up without some things, I didn't have the worst childhood. We weren't extremely poor. We weren't on like death's door or anything, but because I grew up without some things, I now appreciate that more.
And I think that is true, because bloody hell, the first ever game console I remember that my mum bought was a Nintendo Wii, and then
oh god, yeah.
And then I think because my older brother spoiled us as well, that like, because my mum was like, she never did birthday presents, but she went all out like whenever, and we bought like a family DS. And I think with my little brothers, because of my older brother and my mum, right? My brother pays for all the streaming services. Like, my mum, and it's like, they wouldn't know what a HTC is. Or like the cheaper Samsungs, the ones that were like, not the standard ones, but like the budget Samsung ones. And I think, you know, you look back at it and you realise that if you don't appreciate the value, it's like the pennies make the pounds.
Yeah. But it's crazy. It's like my first phone was my mum's old phone. So my mum's phone was a bit knackered. She needed a new phone. So my first ever phone was, here you go, here's my old phone. My brother's first ever phone was like the brand newest Samsung out on like contract, which was baffling to me. Like, loads of kids these days are having like brand new smartphones. I wouldn't have been trusted with a brand new smartphone at that age. Jesus. To be fair, I probably would have dropped it or smashed it or something.
We were coming to a wrap up. I think you need a mixture of both, because it's all about how you evaluate money. And I think I'm the worst at it, because my situation is like, and you go and I was just like, why is tinfoil so expensive?
Yeah, what is that about? Yeah.
So when you told me that, I need to prioritize these food items, not tinfoil, and I was just like, it's not a couple of quid. And one day, I'll just with my mum, because I never had to buy it myself, right? I go and I'm just like, what, 5-6 quid?
Yeah,
and in Aldi of all places as well.
The cheapest one I could find was like £4.18. It was only a metre.
And I was just like, at Aldi of all places, but that's what I mean. I think because I'm in a situation where I don't have to think about those things. And then it's like, oh fuck, but when you realistically put like value in it, you're like, shit, that's expensive. And I think that's why when you're rich, you kind of lose the value. It's that whole joke, ask a rich man how much a pint of milk is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But I think you need a dream. I think not even a dream, a passion or a why or a motivation for you to then find a way to make money. If you're passionate enough to make that film, you'll find a way to crowdsource your film. But the thing is, you have to be passionate, and I think the value of the money comes, because I'm admitting now, I ain't good. Like, I'm an impulse buyer with my 3 cameras. Like, that's really bad, but it's like, I'd never see myself buying a house.
It's one of those things. Not everyone knows what their dream is, and we'll be talking about that on a future podcast. But not everyone knows what their dream is, but for those who do, it is sometimes just so hard to chase that dream without the money. So no one will hate on you if you chase the money for a little bit, but go back to your roots, go back to your dream.
So my mum will find it ridiculous that I spent £600 on a camera, but she doesn't know how much that camera values. I value it.
Yeah.
It's the one we're shooting on the pod, but my mum wouldn't value that. She'd be like, what the fuck? That's like some people, that's like a...
Things have different values to different people, definitely.
But I know that this camera is like, makes my life easier. And then I just keep my old ones for nostalgia, like my BTEC camera, like this flippy screen doesn't flip, but you know. And I think when somebody says to you, like my mum's couldn't 1,000 how much I spent. She's like, it's a waste of money. But I'm like, nah, it's my dream, it's my passion. But sometimes you go crazy and there's like, did I have to spend £1,000, 500 on Mac? Like, then I'm just like,
Well, I think the moral of this podcast
don't be
is,
mean. Do as I say, do not as I do. What's that?
do as I say, not as I do. Oh, my mother's favourite quote. But
But,
yeah, essentially, follow your dream, but no one will hate you for following money until you can follow your dream. And I feel like that's what we're agreeing with here.
Yeah, and I think you gotta go back to your roots. When you get stuck in like the matrix, you gotta find a way out of it, right?
Yeah, don't get stuck following the money. Make sure you do follow the dream eventually.
Yeah.
Oh,
So basically we say 50-50.
50/50.
Yeah. When life gives you lemons, grab a friend and work hard, dream harder.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's